who is not even, like, it's shocking because, I mean, do they monitor this like this online, or child offenders who get released that just, quote, slip through the cracks? I didn't think so. So why are you, it's so bizarre. It's so scary. Also, they're buying warehouses. Look into it. Look into it. DHS went through a whole buying spree where they secretly leased up a bunch of warehouses. There's one, I believe, in Georgia that they're trying to house like 10,000 detainees. So look at your local states, look up your local areas, and see if there's like a warehouse that DHS has been secretly looking into buying or has already purchased. A lot of contracts were signed secretly, and they were doing this without much attention for the longest time. All near major cities. A lot of them are in very alarming spots, like next to preschools, church gatherings, like community centers where people will go to be safe. But anyway, back to the FBI. A lot of agents are saying they don't really do any crime solving, crime fighting anymore, or national security anymore. And they said that Pam Bondi, because you remember Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have some going on. So Kash Patel is the FBI director. Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States. She accuses the New York field office of holding back documents in the Epstein case. Everyone's just trying to save their ass. Pam Bondi was like, I got the Epstein files on my desk. And then the administration was like, there's no files. Kash Patel was like, what files? What are you talking about? Pam Bondi is like, you guys are holding files. So it became this whole point your finger, they beef with each other. Kash Patel then diverts a ton of agents to work on redactions for files. One agent says, a member of the redaction team asked me, because I'm a superior, can I not work on this anymore? They had a team call, and Patel jumped on the call and yelled at everyone, telling them to work faster, that he'd fire everyone who worked on the redactions if he didn't have it when he wanted it. And they were allegedly told to flag references to Trump and other well-known figures, as well as redacting information about victims, which is the only thing they were supposed to do.
Right. Huh.
So don't be confused that this was hard work for American people's rights to know who amongst the rich and powerful are criminals. Which at this point, if we are a casino, you would make a killing just assuming everyone is first a bad person, then giving them the benefit of the doubt. The article reports that more than 20% of the FBI's workforce has been assigned to immigration enforcement, which impacts the amount of personnel that can investigate other things like public corruption, white-collar crime, kidnappings.
Wow.
One agent stated, I remember praying that we didn't have a terrorist attack, mass shooting, or a cyber attack slip through the cracks because my agents, who were highly trained to protect against such threats, were assigned to immigration enforcement. Another agent says, I did not go to law school. I did not go to Quantico and work counterterrorism operations overseas to doing traffic control for Arrest a Brown Person Day. So the Bureau is known for using polygraphs to get security clearance, where they ask you questions and, they ask you questions that you would imagine that they ask you. But now they said that the Bureau is doing, this is an allegation, if there's a leak, because there's a lot of leaks in this administration, in all departments. Even, I think recently there was a Pentagon leak with how many casualties there were in the Iran situation recently. This leak, if there's leaks in the FBI, allegedly, Kash Patel will have employees polygraphed, and they will be asked if they said anything negative about Kash Patel, which feels like very emotional and sensitive. I mean, it's definitely morally and ethically bankrupt if this is occurring, but could you imagine a female director doing something like that? This scathing adjectives she would be called. She would be framed as a soft, whiny baby who wants everyone to love and worship her because she's probably a whore. But instead, Kash Patel, how can you be such a soft, sensitive little person?
Unbelievable.
One agent says, quote, they were polygraphing their own senior leadership team because they were so mad about media leaks. Then soon after the Charlie Kirk shooting, Kash Patel flies to Utah, and the first thing he wants is a raid jacket, FBI raid jacket. They don't have one in his size, which, side note, leadership doesn't wear raid jackets. Okay, so FBI, when they do raids, they wear FBI on their back. But once you're in a leadership position, you wear a suit. You don't wear a raid jacket. But allegedly, Trump told Patel he wants to see the raid jackets everywhere because he wants the feds to take the credit for a lot of things. Is the allegation in the expose? Okay, I don't know. I'm not in these rooms. I don't know any of these conversations. But they don't have a size medium. So in this very crucial moment of, I don't know, solving a crime, whatever, you know, he has the SWAT team take off their patch, like the SWAT patch, so that he can wear just the FBI letters to the press conference, which is just odd. And then, here's this long quote, after he gets there, quote, whenever there's a critical incident, one of the first things that happens is a conference call with everybody, all the executives. Most of the field offices dial in. The director rarely speaks because someone with situational awareness is leading the call because there's an emergency. You gotta be there. Like, you have to have, you know what's going on. They'll say, here's what happened, here's what we know, here's what we need. But we get on, and it's just Cash berating the special agent in charge of Salt Lake. He's super emotional. Which, side note, emotional in a leadership position, such as being the director of the FBI, is never good. I don't think they use the word emotional as a way to display his humanity. They continue, then it turns surreal. Cash Patel and Dan Bongino start talking about their Twitter strategy. And Cash is like, I'm gonna tweet this, Salt Lake, you tweet that, Dan, you come in with this, and then I'll come back with this. They're literally scripting out social media, not talking about how we're going to respond or resources or the situation. He's screaming that he wants to put stuff out, but nothing's been vetted yet. It's not even accurate. Everyone on the call is just like, this guy is completely out of control. On another call, he said, when a crisis happens, the only thing you need to do is call me. The most important thing in any crisis is controlling the narrative. I was like, no. We actually have to do some work here. Like, we're gonna have to investigate. The most alarming message coming from the FBI insiders is that they feel the way that Cash Patel is running the Bureau it's just a weapon of the White House, and the diverting of resources is leaving the country vulnerable to attack, which we now know in this situation, which, call it the conflict, call it the war in Iran, that's not good. I will say these are all of the allegations and quotes that you can find on the New York Times expose. However, the FBI spokesperson, Ben Williamson, had said about this expose, this story is a regurgitation of fake narratives, conjecture, and speculation from anonymous sources who are disconnected from reality. They can whine and peddle falsehoods all they want, but it won't change the fact that the FBI under this administration worked with partners at every level and delivered a historic 2025. A White House spokesperson states, President Trump and FBI Director Cash Patel are restoring integrity to the FBI by returning its focus to fighting crime and letting good cops be cops. So, I don't know. You take the expose as you will. Maybe you hate the New York Times. But I will say, Cash Patel is a very odd individual, in my opinion, because he also has a children's book, a real children's book, that you can purchase where he's a wizard, and he saves King Donald Trump from the evil, disgusting, filthy DOJ. The book is called The Plot Against the King, and it's marketed for 5-year-olds and up. I also think it's a trilogy, which, like, goddamn, okay. I'm still waiting for final installments of trilogies from some of my favorite authors, and here is this trilogy. But also, the second one does not seem to be sold on Amazon anymore. So I don't know if it's a duology, and he just, like, weirdly named the first one, and then the third one, and skipped number 2. I don't know if 2 is a bad number for him, or the second one is just pulled from the shelves. I don't know. But that still doesn't answer why is Trump getting involved in all of this. So it seems like Cash Patel has better things that he wants people to pay attention to, like the Nancy Guthrie case, versus probably this New York Times expose. But what about Trump? Is he just making a comment since he's worked with Savannah Guthrie previously and has had interactions with her? Is that why he wants to be of assistance? I mean, I guess you could say that. Or you could say that some people think that the idea of a disappearance being the only thing that the country wants to talk about could be a really good opportunity to not talk about other things. January 30th, the DOJ releases the single largest drop of Epstein files, like I've noted, including the one, there's a picture of the former Prince Andrew crouched over a redacted female's body who's laying on the ground. Everybody is clothed, but it's not a great picture. February 1st, Nancy Guthrie disappears from her home. February 2nd, Epstein survivors are rightfully enraged and traumatized because the DOJ, who seems to have spent a ton of manpower to redact the names of high-powered businessmen and billionaires from their files, they have left a ton of documents unredacted that clearly show underage victims' names, personal information, and ways that people can find out where they are now. More traumatizing, the New York Times, nearly 40 unredacted images that show both nude bodies and the faces of the people portrayed were left unredacted for the public. Quote, the people in the photos appear to be young, although it was unclear whether they were minors. Some of the images seem to show Mr. Epstein's private island, including a beach. Others were taken in bedrooms and other private spaces. While photos of powerful men were mysteriously redacted in some cases for no reason, The lawyers representing the victims state it's kind of infeasible to think that the DOJ would make mistakes like this. Quote, DOJ cannot plausibly characterize this as an error, negligence, or bureaucratic failure. The task was straightforward. Take the list of known victims and redact those names everywhere they appear. When DOJ believed it was ready to publish, it needed only to type each victim's name into its own search function. Any resulting hit should have been redacted before publication. Had DOJ done that, the harm would have been avoided. Another attorney states, this whole thing is ridiculous. The DOJ was ordered to release information to the public to be transparent about Epstein and Maxwell's criminal enterprise network. Instead, they released the names of courageous victims who had fought hard for decades to remain anonymous and out of the limelight. Whether the disclosures were inadvertent or not, they had one job to do it, and they did not do it. But instead, we're talking about Nancy Guthrie. February 3rd, Trump states that he wants to nationalize voting. Fulton County in Georgia stated that they will be suing the FBI. I think just giving thorough context for this would require like 10 business days. But the administration and the FBI raided and seized a bunch of voting ballots from Fulton County in Georgia from the 2020 presidential election. And Trump comes out to state on Dan Bongino's podcast that he thinks that we should nationalize voting in the United States.
These people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally. And amazing that the Republicans aren't tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
Because constitutionally, U.S. elections are governed by the state. He doesn't want that anymore, which is a huge cause for concern. He's saying it's because the election was stolen, but a lot of people are saying it's much harder to hack 50 systems than hack one system. And during all of this, Trump is interviewed and he says,
yes, but, speaking of Epstein, I will say this, a reporter named Wolf and Epstein conspired. This just came out yesterday, in the millions of pages of documents, how crazy this is, conspired against me in order to fight like hell to make sure I lose the election. That's the only thing that was mentioned about me. Now, about Democrats, some really bad stuff, but about me, that Wolf, whoever Wolf is, he wrote a couple of books, and Epstein conspired against me. So that takes care of Epstein as far as Trump is concerned, but you got a lot of Democrats out there that are very much involved with Epstein. But I'll be honest with you, you got to get back to running the country, too.
And then he states that the reporter from CNN needs to smile more. And this is like in the Oval Office with a whole gaggle of press.
Would you say that the survivors...
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face. You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth.
She was asking him about Epstein survivors. So naturally, she was not smiling at the time. And many netizens feel that it's very odd for Trump to want the world to let go of the Epstein files and move on from it when they just release so much information, damning information against various people. So let's get into the latest drop of the files. I will say that this is not an all-encompassing video on the Epstein files because it's literally impossible. The Rotten Mango team is, at the very end of the day, I think we're a super, super, super small team compared to any news network or even other podcasts. We're a very small team. I think you'd be shocked to see how intimate the core team is, and intimate being a nice way of saying small and very well caffeinated. I wish I could dedicate everyone to go through files because a lot of people have requested updates on the Epstein files, and we did our best to get through as much as possible. But with all the other cases that people have been requesting to be covered, especially the international ones that are less known about, we've been trying to work on everything at the same time. So this is not going to be like a comprehensive, exhaustive overview of everything that's been released, but we'll try to keep giving you updates as we go. February 2026, former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is arrested on his 66th birthday. And after being in custody for 11 hours, I will say that he is released. King Charles has issued a very rare personal statement where he says, in more words, "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course," which is a very kind way of saying, like, we're going to let this happen. Whatever Andrew is going to go through, he's going to go through it. It is monumental, but also it can be more monumental because as of right now, he is under investigation, but he has not been charged nor exonerated. So while a lot of people in the UK, they want more and they want it more quickly, everyone in the US feels like if even a former prince can be detained, there can finally be some clarity, there can be some justice. How come it's not happening over here? A week after that, another arrest is made in the UK. Peter Mandelson. He's the former UK ambassador to the US. He was a key advisor for Prime Ministers Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. He's a Labour politician. Peter Mandelson is arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. His name comes up extensively in the files, nearly 6,000 times. And he's very close to Epstein. There's a photo of him in his undies, also found in the files.
Doing what?
Just hanging out. So there's that. So, I mean, you know, he can't say that he had no clue about Epstein's crimes and that he failed to do a quick Google search.
On these photos, where are those photos from? Is someone just there constantly with a digital camera?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. Okay.
What a lot of people have been doing is a lot of these billionaires, especially in the United States, pretty much anyone, any of the tech founders, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, everybody likes to say, I've never heard of Google. I did not know as a billionaire I should even Google the company that I keep. It doesn't make sense to anyone because even I meet someone new, I might Google them, especially if I know nothing about them. And if they're claiming to be a billionaire, I'm definitely going to Google them.
Oh, you're saying they never Google Epstein?
After 2008, we never really looked into, we didn't know his past, I just thought he was some rich guy. You're telling me that people like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, people who have bunkers are not security clearancing everyone in their path?
Mark Zuckerberg is in there too?
Well, he had a dinner, he was in the files, his name comes up a few times. His spokesperson has stated that it was just a dinner along with other like key investors and tech entrepreneurs. Elon Musk, like you're telling me these people don't Google people? Though Musk has not, I don't think that he said that he didn't Google, he's just been very vague about it. So there were emails where he's asking, like practically begging Epstein to go on the island for the craziest party ever. Like this is crazy because all these other billionaires, they have very roundabout ways of being like, you're such a good friend. Elon Musk is like, I want to go to the island. I want the craziest party of my life. And everyone's like, you're filthy and disgusting. I don't know what's going on. He's come out and his only like statement, I think, is that, hey, so I've been promoting the Epstein files being released, so.
He said he's never gotten invited.
Yeah, basically. But Peter Mandelson cannot say that he never Googled Epstein because he wrote an email to Epstein June of 2008, and this is when Epstein goes to jail on his work release program. Mandelson emails him, I think the world of you. I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. I can still barely understand it. It just could not happen in Britain. You have to be incredibly resilient, fight for early release, and be philosophical about it as much as you can. The whole thing has been years of torture, and now you have to show the world how big a person you are and how strong. Your friends stay with you and love you. Then in Norway, you have the former Prime Minister of Norway, Jagland. I don't know if the J is pronounced like that there, but Jagland. And according to email correspondence, he arranged family visits to Epstein's residences in Paris, New York, Palm Beach. This is all after Epstein's 2008 conviction. And Jagland had a whole plan to take his entire family to Epstein's island, but it was canceled because Epstein was sick. There are so many people in the files that have come out and they're like, hey, you guys are wrong. I've never been to the island. And then the emails get released, and it's always Epstein canceling on them. And they're trying to go to the island.
That's crazy.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Bill Gates and Epstein both went to Jagland, the former Norwegian Prime Minister's house, to talk about Bill Gates' work in eradicating polio, which, let's be real, Jagland was the chair of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, and allegedly Epstein told someone at the Gates Foundation that he's very friendly with, quote, the Norwegians and could help Gates win the Nobel Peace Prize, according to the Wall Street Journal. However, I will note a Gates spokesperson states, Mr. Gates has never been focused on or campaigned for the Nobel Peace Prize or any other prize, which is exactly something someone says when they don't get one. Meanwhile, in the US, there have been a string of resignations, but nothing that really means anything to the victims. Like, no meaningful change or impact. Just rich people retiring early. Representative Thomas Massey states, over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide. But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Justice Department. And it's because a lot of people in positions of power do not think that there's anything to be done here. Kash Patel has basically stated to Congress that Epstein just trafficked girls to himself, that there is no credible evidence that anybody else is guilty. He states that he would have brought the case yesterday if there was any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone but himself.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? himself, there is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And
also, this is the same person that went on podcasts to doubt that Epstein self-exited. Kash Patel has even stated to a right-wing podcaster in the past, before he became the director, you don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And now he says, there's no list. What list? He says of government officials, put on your big boy pants and let us know who these pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
This was before he became the director, and now it's, there's no one to charge. He only trafficked him to himself. That's it. Now, that being said, we're going to go into the other big names in the U.S. that have come up in the files. And this is not me saying that they are guilty of trafficking, that Epstein trafficked victims to them. The sequence of events in this video just happened in this way that it's right after that segment. But literally, nobody has been charged and convicted of anything related to Epstein that I'm about to talk to you about. Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines, who just lost his wife, and a lot of people were showing him much love and comfort during that time period. He's in the files. Does that imply guilt? That's not at all what I said, but there's an email from Richard Branson to Epstein that reads, Dear Jeffrey, it was really nice seeing you yesterday. Which, by the way, Richard Branson has an island in the, the Virgin Islands. The boys in water sports can't stop speaking about it. Anytime you're in the area, we'd love to see you, as long as you bring your hair up.
What?
Then 5 bullet points. I think if Bill Gates was willing to say that you've been a brilliant advisor to him, that you slipped up so many years ago by sleeping with a 17-and-a-half-year-old woman and were punished for it, you've more than learned your lesson and have done nothing that's against the law since. And yes, as a single man, you seem to have a penchant for women, but there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, something along those lines. 2, 20th September, sadly, I'm in the UK that week. 3, I'll copy Peter Norris. Is there a similar transaction you'd recommend today? 4, we definitely should be using all the information we gain worldwide to trade currencies and trade oil. If you find anybody you recommend for us, that would be great, but I'll start looking. Again, I'll copy Peter Norris. The other parts, financially speaking, some people are like, that sounds suspicious, like, what are you saying? Okay, but more than that, the whole Bill Gates thing, okay? A spokesperson for Richard Branson has stated that Richard Branson has used the word harem to refer to adult women that he brought along, not underage girls and children. The email is from 2013, so there is publicly available information about Epstein's crimes by this point, and he even notes it in the email, just writing about one of his crimes. Bill Gates could say this about you, that you slept with a 17-and-a-half-year-old woman, and a lot of netizens feel like the fact that he even said 17 and a half is so disgusting. Like, that tells you what kind of person this is, and these people are fucking old when this is happening. Bill Gates has obviously been heavily in the news for the allegations that he contracted an STI from a Russian woman that he was having an affair with and wanted to get meds for himself and meds to secretly give to his then wife, Melinda Gates. He has denied those allegations. And he's been in the news for...
What do you mean he denied those allegations? Wasn't that email?
Oh, okay, so I'm going to explain it to you. It gets a little complicated, right? And that's, I mean, even the emails, a lot of people are hiding behind some emails could display wrong metadata. There's like a whole thing, yeah. The metadata. But overall, Bill Gates has been in the news for just being chummy with Epstein. Bill Gates has since apologized to his staff for having 2 separate affairs with 2 different Russian women whilst being married to Melinda Gates. Quote, I did have affairs, one with a Russian bridge player who met me at bridge events, and one with a Russian nuclear physicist who I met through business activities. He states that Epstein later discovered these affairs, but these affairs do not involve Epstein's victims. And then he says that Epstein basically tried to blackmail him with the information. In one email, Epstein writes to a mutual of Bill Gates and Epstein. He writes that if the affairs go public, quote, Bill risks going from the richest man to the biggest hypocrite, Melinda a laughingstock, pledges will disappear as a result. Another email is basically Epstein shaming Bill Gates for allegedly being cheap with his mistresses, writing, so he's talking about the mistress, Bill Gates' mistress. I sent her that note. She said she had little money, couldn't afford air conditioner, was living on a friend's couch, really needed money. I sent her some money. Your friend Bill is nuts. His former girl can't afford aircon, cannot afford to travel to bridge tournaments. She said that Sharon Osbourne used to arrange. The lawyer helped her with papers, so she's okay but broke. That story would take Trump off the front pages. The richest man in the world is so cheap. His former bridge girl and toy lives on a friend's sofa. Wow, wow. Who is this email even to? Which, by the way, the Russian bridge player, a lot of netizens are like, she's a honeypot for the Russians because she was pictured with an infamous Russian spy. Anyway, we're gonna get there in a second, okay? But who is this email even to? There is so much. This
Operator, are you enjoying the view?
ruthless. When he first started Microsoft, he was brutal. Everybody was scared of him. Like, he had this penchant for being someone that was a nightmare to work with. Like, the things that you hear about people like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, like, this is what he was saying about Bill Gates. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting because Bill Gates is all about saving the world these days. The white graying hair. And he always has like a soft demeanor, like very not Jeff Bezos-y, not haha, I'm gonna take over space vibes. What's going on? I try to buy the book. Can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, now I feel like I need to read the book for research purposes because I'm getting freaked out. Why can't I buy it anywhere? And so I ordered it off of eBay.
So this book is written years and decades ago.
In the 90s.
Okay.
In the 90s. So what they said that Bill Gates never washed his hair. He was known for having dandruff all over his shirts, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I deal with dandruff too, but it paints him in a light that is vastly different from his public image these days.
And the book cannot be found anywhere now, no longer published.
Yeah, like I couldn't find it in the local bookstore, but it is from the 90s. Couldn't find it even from like big retailers like Barnes & Noble.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, now I need to read it.
Who wrote it anyways?
He's like a biographer. He has a second book about Bill Gates. I think that book is nicer about Bill Gates because that one you can buy, right? And then Bill Gates released his own book, Source Code, which I also bought because I was like, ooh, the minute I get free time, I'm gonna compare all three of them because I just want to see. Because now I got into this is like a side quest that I try to go on, but no, it's weird.
Yeah. Wow.
They said that he was just ruthless. But he's like the only one that has good PR. I mean, define good, but like that soft grandpa PR.
Yeah.
Versus like Jeff Bezos, I'm like, I'm definitely scared of you, just looking at you. Whereas I feel like Bill Gates, like you look at him and you're like, oh, he looks mostly harmless. Anyway. Something you may or may not know is that for a limited time, my husband and I were able to set up basically a pop-up shop online for my grandfather-in-law's artwork, all thanks to Shopify. A little backstory, Grandpa Mango's art studio was only up for a limited time, but he had spent his entire life painting traditional Chinese artwork and wanting to share it with the world. Thanks to Shopify, we were able to make one of his lifelong dreams come true. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. On the business owner side, their website templates make it so incredibly easy to set up Grandpa Mango's studio. And whenever I'm on the customer side and I'm shopping online ready to check out and I see that purple Shop Pay button from Shopify, it saves me time and trouble. Most of the time my wallet will be across the house. I'm already settled in the bed. So this one-click checkout is amazing when I'm buying last-minute gifts or something that I know is going to sell out if I don't get it right away. Their purple Shop Pay button is why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. I mean, I'm sure there are so many things that I bought because it had the purple Shop Pay button and I was just like, okay, why not? It'll be so easy. And I feel like that's really good for businesses, especially small businesses. See less carts go abandoned and more sales with Shopify and their Shop Pay button. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/rotten. Go to shopify.com/rotten. That's shopify.com/rotten. Cooking can be a hit or miss in our kitchen, and every time there's a miss, that one aisle in the grocery store with all of those pre-prepared meals, it starts looking like a good idea. When I know it's not, I'll start looking, and I realize the ready-to-bake casserole feeds a family of 6. Meanwhile, it's just me and my husband, or just me sometimes.
He's still in there. Cool.
Yes, I get that a lot.
Wow, Turbish, you scared me.
Yes, I get that a lot.
I'm still recovering from last night's old-timer sex party.
There was a lot of drooping and dangling. You missed the exciting zebra dance accident.
It really happened, right? Everybody knew, including me, including you. Oh God, including you, Turbish.
Unkind.
Get out of here! Dad saw it all. We drove him crazy. He felt even more naked than I was.
It's no shame.
You have nice butt shape.
Ah! Kinda lucky you did not inherit the red, bushy hair from your father. She's right, you know.
Turbish, scram! Dreamland is in trouble. I mean, we've got to do something. Turbish! I hear you breathing.
Okay, I'll stop. Oh, it's too hard.
Get out of here.
I go by now. Bye.
Bye. And listen. Oh, good, he's honking. I mean, that's better than screaming.
I said it's your slinky ex-wife Una and troubled daughter Bean! Ah!
Oh, poor Zol. You are kind of like giant sweaty rug roast.
Maybe some tater tots and a side of green beans.
Oh my God, can you at least show my dad some dignity? I mean, he's our king.
Yes, of course, Princess. You treat Zog with our utmost respect. It's no longer necessary.
What did you mean by that?
Nothing at all. But you have to worry about.
What did you mean by that?
Please, dear Beanie, you can trust us. Wink.
Hey, Una, who do you think I should punch first?
Careful, Bean. What Dreamland needs right now is steady hand.
Oh, and a new army.
What?
Elvo scared off all the new recruits last night with his moonlight slapping on the bum.
You saw that?
Yo, yeah, we all saw it, Elvo, and we'll never unsee it. We only have 12 arrows left.
We keep aiming at seagulls and missing.
Turbish!
Bean, I take care of crazy zombie. You take care of crazy king. It's going to be okay. No more holding. everyone did go out quiet as bed bugs.
The monster comes for us all!
Alright, you simple country folks. Tell me exactly what happened with the monster.
It trampled my car with its humongous feet. It tossed me into the next kingdom.
It rampaged through my pantry and devoured everything. Oh my, the smell. It stole my butter. It stole my
Don't you think
butter.
it's kind of weird the monster ate everything in sight, but didn't touch these succulent pigs?
Maybe it's a kosher monster?
Merkimer, did you see a monster around here?
Sorry, I tend not to notice things that aren't me.
What do we do, Detective TV?
I don't know yet.
Then we'll handle this ourselves.
Count your toes out, one at a time.
Oh my, what fun!
Elfo, Lucy, stop!
I wish I could, but my feet are going this way. Sorry, Dean.
The masses have spoken.
No, violence never solves anything.
Except for the one time it solved all that stuff.
But that was once. Why are you still here? The mob went out.
All right.
What's your name? Sambuca?
No, Sam Buka. First name Sam, last name Buka.
Hold on. Are you married to Denise?
Yeah.
Buca?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
What?
Well, I don't want to get into it, but down at the pub, she was stealing mugs.
Yeah, well, that's how we get mugs.
You can just steal mugs from an established place?
Oh, when you don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I
Don't steal mugs.
If I need a mug, I'll go and use it at the bar. You know what, just go home to Denise. I'm sure you guys can,
Drink mugs.
yeah, that you stole.
No, yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
I've gotta go.
Well, yeah, you should go.
Tell Denise you said.
No, please do not tell her anything about me.
She has to know.
Don't you have a mob to join?
Yeah, maybe I do. Chow.
What?
I'm gonna go eat some chow. I'm hungry. Some detective you are.
Look, there goes. We got ourselves a runner. They always hit the abandoned tower. We don't want to kill you. We just want to burn you some.
Stop! Stop! Monsters are people too!
No, they're not. We're barely people ourselves.
Okay, until we find out what it is, we're not burning anything.
Too late, man. We still set the castle on fire.
God damn it.
Don't die in there, Bean. I'm not stable enough for grief right now, and I want my knife back.
Hi. Hey. Hi. I'm Dean. Okay, so you see that crazy castle over there? That's where I'm from. No, not that one. That's the mini golf course that no one goes to anymore. Anyway, okay. Listen. I know things look pretty bad right now. The roof's had you cornered. The tower's on fire. And I'm pointing this big knife at what I think is your face. Which I will use if I have to, but I don't want to. I want to be your friend. Believe it or not, I know what it feels like to be burned alive by a mob of idiots. I get it. You're scared. I'm scared too. If we both stay home and nobody makes any sudden moves, this whole thing will turn out fine. What do you say we hug it out and head downstairs? Oh my god, you're on fire. Okay. Luca the mug thief
The mystery of the missing mug.
has been solved.
This is a vendetta because you're jealous of Denise.
No, this is not a vendetta. This is because these buffoons are the worst backup ever. I have no army. Dreamland is screwed.
Denise says hi.
What?
She says she's high on bread mold, and you can't have it.
What's your prognosis for Serion?
I'm not sure what that word means, but look at this. Every time I jab him, he squeals.
But what about the curse? Can you get Herkimer back into his body?
I have such a yearning for opposable thumbs. Do you know how hard it is to pleasure oneself with hooves? It is well nigh impossible.
A cursory person would say, this is a job for a wizard of exceptional power. Climber.
You mean I'm trapped as a useless pig forever?
No!
On the bright side, look at this cool trick I just taught the human you. Look. Good. Look. Good.
Please stop that. You confound my sorrow with those nauseating cheese balls.
Oh my god, you guys. It totally looks like he's talking. Elfo, flick him another one. Flick. Herkimer, say something.
I don't know what you're trying to pull, but I've been humiliated enough. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to enjoy this butter I stole. Oh, sweet butter. You're the only thing right with the bug.
Baby, right? It's uncanny.
How many of those little snack treats you got?
What do you think that sack is?
Pack your cheese balls. We're going to bed.
I'm sorry, but we're not taking refugees today. Or any day.
Of course, no. Yeah. I'm actually Princess Tiavini from the mighty Kingdom of Dreamland, and we're on a diplomatic mission of great secrecy and importance.
Not in that thing, right?
For God's sake, enough chitter-chatter. Let us in right now, or I'll have you transferred to an early grave.
Prince Merkimer, forgive me. I'll order your usual fanfare immediately.
How lower?
Even lower?
Huh. Actually not as grand as I thought it'd be.
That's the garage. Mother, father, the rest of you, I, Prince Merkimer of Bedwood, welcome you all to my return.
Is that Merkimer? You hug him this time.
Oh, happy day. Merkimer, my favorite son since my favorite son died. You've returned.
But this is impossible. You were transposed into a pig. I saw it. How did you...
For Serion, our fabulous wizard, he switched your pig son Merkimer back into his human body Merkimer. I return your son to you, asking nothing in return.
which finger the corpus used to count their money? The index.